I'm going to help you get everything you need to have Swift up and running on your computer. The first thing that you need to do is go to developer.apple.com/Swift. I'll have the link down in the description. And here you want to click download the Swift programming language from the iBook store. And this is that 500-page book on documentation of Swift. This is currently the only written resource about Swift, and it's developed by Apple. A lot of information in there, but it's a little bit chunky. And so through all the videos in this course, I'm going to be walking through what's talked about in that book and giving you actual examples so that it kind of brings this documentation to life. So go ahead and click View in iBooks. And since I've already downloaded this, it just says read, but for you, for the first time, it will probably say download. So you just click on that, and here you'll have the book. And you can get to the table of contents here. You'll notice that how the chapters are set up in this book are how they're set up in this course. So if you want to know specifically about strings and characters, you can skip to that part of the course in the book and kind of get a better feel for that information. Now that you have the ebook installed and on your machine, let's get Xcode. Now, Xcode is what allows us to develop iOS and Mac applications, and it's what we're going to use to play around with Swift. And you need Xcode 6, which is the brand new version of Xcode. And currently Xcode 6 is in beta, so we need to go get that from Apple's Developer Center. So let's click on our Safari browser, and let's go to developer.apple.com. No /Swift, just developer.apple.com, and then click up here on the Member Center. This will bring up the following login portal. If you've already signed up and are a registered developer with Apple, just go ahead and put in your credentials. But if you're not, you need to click on this register button, and then this will take you to a web page where you can either create a brand new Apple ID or use an existing one. Now, you probably have an Apple ID if you've bought anything from iTunes, if you have an iPhone and you've downloaded apps, and in that case you'll just use the username and password that you've been using with iTunes if you click sign in here. But if you just want to create a brand new one, you can go ahead and click create Apple ID. So once you do that, we're going to go back to the login screen. I'm assuming that you've now registered with Apple as a developer. So we're here. Go ahead and input your information and we'll move on to the next screen. So once you've signed in, you're going to be brought to a screen like this, and you're going to want to click on the iOS Dev Center. If you're a Mac developer, you can also do that, but I'm just going to assume we're doing iOS. And you'll come here, and the place where you can download Xcode is under this iOS beta, and you'll notice that this is grayed out. And this is because this is an account that doesn't have, isn't bought into the iOS developer program or the Mac developer program. And so in order for you to download the Xcode 6 beta and be part of this, you need to be part of that program. So over here on the side, you can enroll into that program. And so I'm going to sign back in through an account which has been enrolled in that program. I just wanted you to see what it looked like in case you're in that situation, and then you know exactly what to do. Okay, I've logged back in now with an account that has access to that developer program. And just one thing to note, so being a part of that developer program is $99 per year. And when I first got into iOS development, this was a huge hang up for me. I kept thinking, I can't believe they're charging $99 for me just to be a developer. But in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. If $99 is a lot to you, and I don't doubt that it could be, maybe put in a couple extra hours on some weekends or try and sell something. I don't know, but please do not let this $99 hold you back from becoming a either Mac or iOS developer. In the scheme of things, it's really not a big deal. So anyways, now that we're in here, we have access to this iOS beta, so go ahead and click on that. And as you scroll down, you can see a README that's going to tell you some information about iOS 8 and Xcode. But here you're going to want to click on the download Xcode link. So we'll go ahead and do that. And you can see this starts a download. So I'm going to skip forward to a point where this file is downloaded. It's an extremely large file. I'm trying to see if I can get some details on this. Okay, here we go. Yeah, 2.5 gigabytes. So depending on your internet speed, this could take a long time. So I'm going to skip forward and assume that you have that downloaded. All right, once you have that downloaded, you're going to have this file that's probably called something like xcode_6_beta. There might be different versions of the beta when you're watching this, but all you do is you double click this file and it's going to bring up the screen where you will drag the new Xcode 6 beta into your applications. Now, doing this, it's going to have to copy over this huge file, and it's going to take a while. So I'm going to again skip forward to the point where Xcode 6 has been installed to your machine. Okay, once that installation is complete, you can go ahead and click out of this window. And if you click on your Launchpad to get to your applications, you see you now have the Xcode 6 beta. So if you go ahead and double click on the Xcode 6 beta, it's going to open for the first time. You can see it bouncing down here. And granted, this first time does take a while. So again, I'm going to cut out and I'll come back once this is completed. Okay, you're going to get this little pop-up saying Xcode 6 beta is an application downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? You say yes, open. And again, we wait. Once that's all finished, you'll see a screen like this pop up. And if it's not showing for you, you might just need to click on this icon down here. I've had that happen to me before. It should bring this up. And once you have this, there's a couple different options here. You can see since I had Xcode 5 installed, some of my previous projects are listed here. But for most of this class, we're going to be working in the playground, which is a way for you to experiment and use Swift code and kind of see a quick look into variables and different things that those different objects are returning. So double click on this get started with the playground. I'm just going to ask you where you want to put your playground. And this is just a single file. It's a .playground. So I'm going to put mine on the desktop and just call it my playground. So this file will be called myplayground.playground. And here you have this excellent little window. And the whole purpose of this is here on the left is where you're writing your code, and on the right here is an output of the things that are being returned. So for example, here we have a string variable, and we can tell that, oh, okay, the text inside of that string is hello playground. So this should hopefully be everything that you need to get started. Again, this little playground here is going to be the bread and butter of the course. We're going to do everything inside of here. So you should be all set up. Now let's dive into some content.